Hi, I'm Simon, and welcome to this channel where we explore how can we design better tech, uh, better design, better experiences, better UX, better UI, and most importantly, better for those people using the services, platform, or digital products that you're designing. So, in this video today, I wanted to just discuss. Usability testing versus user interviews. First off, they're two very different things, which each have very different objectives. They are very similar, however, in the fact that they are like any good piece of research. It's quite important to approach and enter into either of these with a clear objective goal that you want to achieve from setting up this piece of investigation. So let's start with usability testing. With usability testing, it's about looking at the specifics of the user experience design. So this could include assessments of any of the following and possibly sometimes more. But we're looking at the usability of the product. So that could be the user flow, the interface design, the art direction of that interface in terms of how that sort of sits on the page, the interaction design. This could be like labeling, content, and really we're kind of trying to assess, is a user like able to complete the tasks required, for example, like submit a form or sign up to your platform or like submit a request or find out kind of some FAQs on a website to understand how they might overcome something. So we will have a setup of a task, something that someone wants to do, and can they do it? So when we're kind of like looking into running usability testing, we're assessing a specific thing around the product itself. So when we're looking at the user flow, it's like, is the experience working for the customer? Is it aligned with what they're looking to achieve? Even sometimes there's things in products and they might not even be what people want to be doing, but from the inside of the business and the stakeholders involved, they thought that certain elements into the product or feature make sense. From a customer's point of view, it might make no sense whatsoever. These are the things we're looking at in a usability test. Is it easy for a customer to achieve those tasks and complete that journey? Do they stumble when they're kind of going through that flow? Does the design and art direction of each part of the page make sense? Like, is it easy to follow? Is it clear, like the labeling on the page and the hierarchy of content when someone's kind of scrolling from the top to the bottom? Do they know where they are? Do they know what they need to do? Do they get confused? They're all kind of like things that we would assess and understand when we're doing usability testing. And what about like the interaction design? So what does the product or service is the product, sorry, or service following like common interaction patterns? So that could be the actual like experience of pressing a button to like the actual UI components. So are we using accordions? Do the are the like icons on those things explaining what those like little elements and features within the product do make sense? Are we just relying on icons, and then sometimes those icons like aren't very clear, not everyone knows what they are, so sometimes it's look, pretty much always it's helpful to have a label accompanying an icon so you don't sort of rely on that. So yeah, the interaction patterns, are we using common like things that is seen everywhere online? So when someone comes to a service and they have to click a filter, they know exactly how to do that and work because they see it everywhere else? Or are we doing our own versions of functionality that we don't really need to do because there's some common patterns out there? And is the functionality like across the page easy to use? Is it like clear what's happened when someone's interacted it, and also kind of like where they are through the experience. I'm thinking of like e-commerce website. You want to go in, you want to like specify what you're looking for, male over female, or you know, not a preference. And then can you filter down into like sizes or items of clothing, or all the different requirements. You might want to do it via price, etc. So are those like different pieces of functionality within a page clear, easily understood? When those things happen, does it make sense? So these are the types of things that we're looking to assess when we're investigating the usability of something. So can a user come into the product or service and get from A to B? Can they achieve the required task that they need to do? And how easy, efficient, and intuitive is it for someone to do? So that's usability testing. And then the first is user interviews. So user interview is quite different because with a interview, we're looking to really kind of investigate a user, customer, client's problem. So this is like disjointed from looking at the experience, but it's a separate thing, and we are really trying to kind of like understand the real world context of that problem. So let's not forget that all great user experience product design is around like solving a real world problem. So the better that we understand a customer's client user's real world problem, the more chances and opportunity we'll have to actually be able to deliver on solving that within a digital experience for them. So things that we're looking to do when we have run those interviews with customers is we're really mostly thinking context. What is the like real world in which someone is living, and when and where and how is this product or service going to be relevant to the people that we're designing it for? Is it something that they're going to be using during the day while at work on their desktop? Is it something that they're going to be doing in leisure time in the evening when they're sitting in front of the telly on their phone, browsing the internet via their mobile device? Are they going to be out and about? Will they be driving? These things around the context of when and where something happens is like imperative really to designing great experiences. I found that they can be the better understanding you have of the customer that you're designing your product for, you can have like monumental impact on what it is that you're creating and delivering for people. So yeah, mostly it's like context. What is the context of how this is going to happen? And then once we've got some understanding of the context, we drill down into the specific problem. So we want to understand everything we can about that problem. Is it like one big problem and then there's lots of other little problems within that? Some of those problems might be slightly bigger than other problems. And what are like imperative needs that need to happen to solve the big challenge, and what are the other kind of likes and wants around that big challenge? So we're really investigating, we're taking time, we're being very attentive, and we want to gather some real compassion and empathy with the people that we're designing from. And we don't really want to be leading people or directing them or putting any of our own biases on things when we're interviewing. We really want to be sitting back, talking as little as possible, and just be all ears. Like, I just want to kind of step into this person's world and really understand the problem it is that I'm designing for, in order for me to be able to design the best thing that I can do. Really, that's what we want to do. So along with like their need, this is probably going to be the biggest problem that you're looking to solve with what it is that you're designing. We also want to know what are their like wants, what are kind of ways on which we can support them better with solving that. This is when it becomes like a full experience. So we don't just give them a need. The need could be, the best price on the market. So you could deliver the best price, but then you might have a really crummy experience because you've just focused on the price. So you do that. If you got an investment, business grows, the experience isn't that great, but we've solved the price point need, so that's fine. But then it might be like, okay, what are some other wants that might support that, could help us improve the experience that we're doing? Other than wants, current behaviors. So what are people like currently doing around this problem or challenge? If you're like a startup and there isn't anything else at the minute, how are they kind of overcoming that problem now? Like the stickier, the tougher, the harder that problem is for them to overcome that you're trying to solve, the more attractive and sticky the product is going to be for you, for them, sorry. So, and a good way to do that and around that problem is go, okay, what are the current behaviors? How are they solving these challenges now? When are they solving those challenges? What way do they solve that challenge? Once worked with a startup. They were kind of creating a charity app, and so they were thinking about doing donations, and they wanted to just like do the kind of add-on of every transaction you make. But when we did some investigation and looking into it, you kind of understand that people way of dealing with the world when it comes to finances is like on a monthly, weekly, annually basis. We've got all these bills coming out. The rest of the world is sort of aligned around, your Q1, Q2, Q3, and then you've got your monthly expenses and bills that are coming out, and then things that happen on weekly. So users' kind of context and understanding of the world and the patterns of their behavior of paying those things already then means, okay, we're doing a charity app, good time to align, or options to provide around donating would be, let's do something like monthly. It's already it's a behavior, a pattern that's kind of happening. So we look to introduce those donating features into app, then their kind of conversion went up. I also understand that there's a lot of talk, and I get a lot of like business owners come to me asking, but how do we create behavior change? Can we create behavior change and get people to do the things that I want them to do? You can do that. It is not a definite no. That is like totally impossible. We see that everywhere with big tech. That has changed, but it's kind of like you need to serve people as and where they are now, and then the kind of behavior change, I think, is a much longer term goal with tons of investment, and you have to start with delivering on what people's requirements are now. That will get, make their life easier now. That will get them on board with your product design, whatever it is that you're doing. And then behavior change is a sort of much longer term goal, I think. I know some business owners might not like to hear that, but realistically speaking, that is the way. So there's those two things, usability testing and user interviews. So they are quite different things. They are have some clear different kind of objectives. What the usability testing is around, specifically looking at the interface, the experience, a flow, the design, and then user interviews are around understanding the real world problem. And really, like, the user interviews should feed into kind of what's being designed. Through those two like practices, you can really start to get a great understanding of where something's falling down, what's working, and look for key improvements that will serve your audiences better. So I hope that was useful. If you like this, please give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more content like this, please give us a follow. If you've got any questions, please ping us in the questions below and we'll do our best to kind of get back to you. But most importantly, keep asking yourselves, as we do, how can I create better tech? Thanks.